Good evening. I wanted to go over the week 4 walkthrough with you. My apologies for being so late. Students are doing a good job of turning things in, but I did want to review everything. And in case anybody has questions or needs to revise or edit anything that they've turned in, you have that opportunity. So this week in week 4, we are talking about the environment in terms of environmental justice and that impact on community health and social justice. So where you live affects your health. I think people are familiar with clean air, pollution, water, safe housing. But one of the things in this class that we're going to talk about is how those environmental hazards are not distributed equally. And there is some research in the lesson that we will take a look at. And so this week's lesson relates to course objective number 5, analyze how environmental conditions contribute to disparate health outcomes, different health outcomes. And then the weekly objectives for this lesson define environmental justice, explain how it relates to social determinants of health and health equity, identify a local or regional environmental justice issue using credible public health and environmental sources, which you've been learning about credible public health resources. And there's a lot going on in our region, and there are examples in the lesson as well. Analyze how environmental conditions contribute to poor health outcomes in historically marginalized or underserved communities. And finally, evaluate community, governmental, or policy responses to environmental health risks and propose justice-oriented solutions. So those would be the public policies, the government policies, those types of things that we were talking about in terms of the determinants, structural determinants of health. And so the key concepts for this week that you will put into your journal and write little definitions about will be environmental justice, which is fair treatment of all people in environmental policies, and environmental racism, disproportionate exposure of communities of color to environmental hazards. For your required readings, you have your different textbooks, and I also added the Environmental Protection Agency website that has specific justice resources available. So feel free to explore the website and see what they have different committees and political actions, things like that to help that you might be interested in that could help you out this week. And then your assignments, there is a discussion, and then also investigating environmental justice in your region. And your reflection for your social justice journal is what environmental risks exist in your community, right? Because that's what you're talking about. And then how do race, income, and I can't see that. Because hold on, let me see. There we go. How do race, income, and history shape exposure to these risks? My screen sharing was in the way. So I will move that back down. So let us go ahead and go to the module for the week. This will take us to the week 4 module. And let me move this back down here. And so it is published. Let me go to the view as student. So it, I could see it. You can see it how you see it. And so that was week 3. And I will continue to push forward on the grading. So we have the overview, which is what we just looked at. There is a video here and one here, and then the lesson on environmental justice. And then there is an ungraded survey that is anonymous that I would really appreciate students if you could fill that out. It kind of lets me know how you're feeling about the course, what I can do, what you can do to better understand the concepts and things that are happening in the class. And then these are the things for you to turn in. The discussion, investigating environmental justice in your region, and your social justice journal. And then I will have week 5 out over the weekend. So let us go look at the TED Talk. So TED Talks are great. They're less than 20 minutes. They really hit home with some of these concepts. This Cheryl Holder is this is a great talk that she has talking about climate change, health and poverty and the link between those factors. And let's see, the next one, click next. And then these are some videos from the American Public Health Association, from the World Health Organization, and others about pollution and our environment. So these are just some more videos for you to watch. This one has to do with social determinants of health. This one talking about racism. Why is racism a public health issue? This is from the same series. Environment and health, air pollution, water quality, waste management, zero waste cities, medical waste, noise pollution in our oceans, alcohol, drug abuse, all different kinds of things, population growth, things like that. And so these could be good, these could provide good evidence for your discussion and your paper, this paper assignment this week. And so let's look at our week 4 lesson. And environmental justice means that no community should bear a disproportionate burden of environmental harm because of their zip code, race, or income level. And that would be one of the definitions of environmental justice. And so we're going to explore the connection between environment and health, positive and negative, and then consider how social justice, the health inequities, social determinants, those things that we have been talking about over the past 3-4 weeks, how those overlapping factors shape the health outcomes of individuals and their communities. So I was actually up in Davis this last weekend, and they have an environmental health sciences center there. And so I provided the link for you. This gives you their mission statement, working with communities to solve health problems. And that is one good resource for you. Talks about different things that they, different solutions that they're working on. To advance better understanding of how the environment influences diseases and disabilities. And then back to Healthy People 2030. This is a summary of literature. It's basically like a literature search, a review of the literature about environmental conditions as social determinants of health. And so these are those objectives that are related to that. So if you're interested in those, you can take a look at those. And then also this is the page where all of that information was found. And then the World Health Organization, which is for the world, and the affiliate, which is the Pan American Health Organization, which we would be part of America. So like North America, Central America, South America, North America, including Canada, that would be Pan America. And this is their different things that they're ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all ages, good health and well-being, climate, clean water, all these factors that you'll learn about that hopefully you've learned about or will learn about in your reading. And so there are some fact sheets here that are presented to you. I believe this will take you to their website, right? So environmental determinants of health talks about that, key facts, some statistics, in case you didn't know about environmental justice. And then different data mining places that you can go to find information for your community or other communities in California. There are county health rankings. So this is helpful. You can, when we were looking at data last week in week 3, this is one of the sites also that was presented to you. And so you can, if we put in, for example, 93901, and search that, it will say Monterey. It will give us basically Monterey, but it will give us the county, which is the county there. You can do, San Benito, you can do Santa Cruz County, whatever county, you could do another state. And so this tells you what the different demographics are. And it'll show you the demographic data. So it will tell you according to the county versus Monterey County versus California statistics in terms of their age, how they identify, ethnicity, those kind of things. And then population health and well-being. We will talk about global health in a couple weeks as well. So this gives you statistics, again, for quality of life, different community conditions. So similar to what you were looking at last week as well. But then it can also pull in environmental factors. And then the next two are specific to environmental factors to look up data and information. I find the websites potentially a little bit difficult to figure out how to work with them, but if you play around enough with them, you'll usually be able to figure it out. And I'm hoping that will. There we go. And so this is environmental justice screening and mapping tool. And so it actually pulled up to Salinas, Watsonville, Soledad, Gilroy, and it will actually provide for you, let's look at environmental justice indexes. So you can actually look at a specific, if you wanted to look at lead paint, for example, and it will tell you, come here, sweetie. It will tell you, according to the map, how much lead paint is there. And so if you actually look at the wider area, you can see quite a few areas here that where the lead paint is higher in Salinas, some of those areas. And then, excuse me, this area looks to me to be probably part of Fort Ord would be my guess. And I would expect that there would be lead paint in that area. You can also look at, let's see, let's do hazardous waste proximity. And so there are places that do have hazardous waste, and especially in Salinas there. Any drinking water non-compliance. So we're actually pretty good. Either or data's not available. Nope, less than 50 percentile. And you can always click on what does this mean? It will explain it to you. So that is another thing that you can look at. You can look at health disparities. It will give you, for example, asthma, and show you where asthma is more prevalent. And so you can see, look at what are those particular areas. Pacific Grove, Del Monte Forest are much less than Marina, Seaside, pocket of Seaside there, and areas in Salinas. So you can play around with that and look at different environmental. These are environmental, those are the ones we just looked at. Environmental burden indicators, they're socioeconomic indicators. And so it will show you people of color, and that overlaps with some of those other maps that we just looked at. And then the other one is Cal EnviroScreen 4.0. I thought this was another good one to give. I'm a visual person, so it's nice to see for me to be able to see the visuals. So again, it will explain to you how to use the map. It has the counties. You can scroll over different, oops, let's go that way. Oops. Try to make that bigger. There we go. And so you can click on disadvantaged communities. You can go to the website. You can go to indicator maps, all those different things. If I click on a particular area, for example, let's do that one. It will give me, it tells me the census tract, and then it will tell me how much pollution, population characteristics, exposures, things that we are exposed to in that particular area, different environmental effects in that particular area. So no solid waste, which is nice. But if you look at sensitive populations, asthma is very prevalent, as is low birth weight and cardiovascular disease. So you can click on, close that one out. And then if we go to, let's see, let's go look at Watsonville and see if they will if it will give us that. Nope, I think it glitched. But you can see how you can play around with that. You can look at whatever area that you would like to. And this is the disadvantaged communities. Note this is a 2022 update. So that's actually pretty good. That's only 3 years ago. So that's pretty good. But those are the different websites that you can use in your assignments this week. And then that is will take you to the ungraded survey. There's none of your names are attached to it. It is anonymous. And then the discussion has been going well. People have been posting, and it will always put the person that has posted the latest, the one that the most recent one, and so for example, Marcos. Hi, Marcos. That's that will show you. And there's Litzy, and so everybody's been doing that. So that's a couple people, and they're doing well with that. So make sure that you today is Thursday, so people can start to reply. The initial post is due tonight, so I'm hoping that you guys are working on that, and then you can start your peer replies. Those are due by Sunday. And so when we look through here, we're looking at how environmental factors impact social justice outcomes. And so in your initial post, 250 to 300 words, so you're looking at some environmental justice issue that affects a specific community. It could be yours, something you've studied, could relate to anything. And then how that issue impacts the health and well-being of the community, and then identify any efforts, government, community-led, or ideas that you might have to help with that, and then reflect on why environmental justice is an essential part of health equity, and then include a reference. And so then reply to at least 2 of your classmates in this way. And then these are some, in case you couldn't think of something in your own local neighborhood, these are specific issues. For example, in 2014 in Flint, Michigan, they had a water issue. This one's local, Salinas Valley, pesticide exposure in the agricultural communities, pollution in South LA, Cancer Alley in Louisiana, urban heat islands, Phoenix and New York, industrial pollution in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So those are just different ones that you could choose to discuss. And so yeah, and so this is great. And there's the reference. So y'all are doing well. So you can start replying to each other, and yep, there you go, one reply. So people are starting to reply. So good job. And then going to investigating environmental justice in your region. So hopefully by doing the discussion, that will help you with this assignment as well. And maybe you'll get some ideas from each other. So environmental justice issues affect communities across the United States, all different kinds of issues. And so this assignment is going to help apply what you've learned about the social determinants of health, equity, and the environmental conditions in a real world context. And so this again gives you the learning objectives. That goes back to objective 5, also ties into the second student learning outcome for the course, which is analyze impact of environmental conditions that contribute to poor health outcome, and then the specific assignment objectives. And so you want to choose an issue and a location. So you're going to, this should be something that's happening in Salinas or in Monterey, Santa Cruz, San Benito, some county that's nearby, or in the state. So not Michigan, not any of those other ones that were outside of our state. And then using specific credible sources, government reports, health department websites, you're going to, excuse me, answer these particular questions. And so again, talking about what is the environmental justice issue, what's happening where, who's affected by it. So you have to look at some of this information and figure out which demographic group is affected by this, and how is it affecting their health. Are there any particular structural determinants of health, social, political, economic factors that are contributing, and what has been done or should be done? And then why, and then looking at why This is specifically an environmental justice issue, not just an environmental one. So we're putting those two concepts together. Include at least two sources, cite them in APA or MLA. Those are some of the examples there. And then you have your social justice journal for week 4. Oh, yeah, I took out toxic stress. I'll go back and you don't need the toxic stress, just the environmental justice, environmental racism, and then these are the two to follow that. And we're not doing that part anymore. And there's the rubric. So there you go. So we will leave the student view. Please feel free to reach out if you have questions. Some students have been doing that, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to stop sharing right now. And what else can I tell you? Yes, I'm on vacation, yes, I'm on vacation again, out of the state, but I will have my computer. I will be checking and I will be doing some grading. You can still sign up for the Sully student hours if you have questions or want me to take a look at anything. Journals are going pretty well. Y'all need to go a little bit deeper, have some deeper conversations in your responses, and make sure to include links and pictures, those kind of things, to make it more of a study guide for you, something that will help you remember the concepts. So have a great weekend, have a good 4th of July, and I will be posting more videos. Thank you so much.